All right, Facebook world, what's going on? It's your main man, Shabaka Amin, coming at you live and direct. So look, I was with you probably 30 minutes ago, maybe 20 minutes ago, and you notice all of a sudden I was live and then I was MIA, missing in action. And that's because in Charlotte right now it's 90 degrees. So as I was outside in the park coming at you live and direct, my iPhone overheated. And that's the reason why I went MIA all of a sudden, missing in action. But I'm committed. Because I really want you to break through. I really want you to stop tolerating remaining overweight. So 20 to 25 minutes ago, I was talking about the difference between being interested in losing weight as opposed to being committed to losing weight. And now that I have you, I've got your undivided attention, I'm going to go in again. And I don't believe there's going to be any interruptions because instead of using Wi-Fi, I'm using an Ethernet connection. And from what I understand, the Ethernet is as stable as you can get as far as an internet connection. So I digress with purpose, but let me dive in. So listen. After 22 years of coaching, speaking, and training people, I've been teaching. I've been helping people transform offline and now for the past 2+ years online. And I'm more passionate now than I've ever been. My passion has not waned, not 1 second. So today I'm bringing the heat. So I hope you can stand it. Go ahead and get a swig of water because you're going to need it. Pull out your pen and paper because you're going to need to take notes. So listen up. This is what I have to share. We got a serious problem in America. Before the coronavirus, there was a pandemic called obesity and overweight. And that pandemic, it's still here. Too many people are overweight and obese. Too many people have given up. Too many people have surrendered to remaining overweight to the point where most people tolerate remaining overweight. But here's the irony. Deep down within ourselves, we have all of the equipment, all of the potential. There is promise. There is potential. There's a weight loss potential. There's a fat loss potential. There's a fat loss promise that's already built into God's biology. And the only way that you could fail at not activating that fat burning potential is if you just give up. As if you just surrender to this false idea that weight loss is difficult, that weight loss is hard. That is a lie, and that's unscientific thinking. That's thinking that's not substantiated by science. That's thinking that's not substantiated by everyday life experience. There are a lot of people who were once obese and overweight who are no longer obese and overweight. So if you're overweight right now and you feel like, emotionally, at the heart level, you feel like the fat must go, then this show is for you. So look, remaining overweight, being obese or remaining overweight is not a cosmetic issue. This is indicative of metabolic issues, intracellular malfunction. What do I mean? I'm talking about within the cells, within your cells, there's a dysfunction. You've compromised the normal function of your cells by what you keep choosing to eat. There is a cure for fat loss. However, it's important for you to understand that obesity and being overweight is not just because you're not exercising enough. It's not just because you're not eating enough plant-based foods. Of course, those two practices play a major role, but the actual source of being overweight and obese, the source of you having excess fat is because of deep down embedded feelings, attitudes, and thoughts. And that's an acronym, FAT. Feelings, attitudes, and thoughts. Those are the internal forces that are responsible for obesity, having excess fat on your biology, giving fat a permanent address on your biology. So listen, this is an intervention of the mind. This is an intervention of the mind. I'm here to tell you that if you're obese or overweight, it's only by choice. It's only because you've decided, you've chosen to accept being or remaining overweight. Within your biology, you have everything, all of the equipment to immediately go into fat burning. How do I know? Because when customers, they start my plant-based metabolic weight loss plan, and they immediately, day one, go into fat burn mode. So for 22 years, one of the things I've learned, one of the great insights I've gained is this. Weight loss is very easy for your biology, and I want you to say it. It is easy to lose weight. I don't care if you're 400 pounds right now. I don't care if you're 300 pounds right now. I don't care if you're 250 pounds right now. What I mean by I don't care if you're overweight right now, I mean that that's a fact, but the truth is weight loss is actually easy for your biology. There's a difference between a fact versus the truth. So because you're obese and overweight, you need to open up your mind, your thoughts, your attitude, and your feelings to the truth that weight loss is actually easy for your biology. Now, the question is, how do you go from where you are, being obese or overweight, to starting the weight loss process, having sustained healthy weight? How do you go from where you are now to where you really want to be? You got to have hunger. You got to believe. You got to have a strong feeling that, one, I feel deserving. You see, being interested in weight loss doesn't equate to losing weight. Desiring to lose weight isn't enough force to get you to take action, to take the steps, to execute a strategy or actionable plan that would begin the process of weight loss. You must have a hunger. You must have a strong feeling. You must feel deserving and worthy of weight loss. And you must own the feeling that it is mine before it even happens. You must own the feeling. You must own the reality that the person that you really are is a healthy, physically healthy person, and you will no longer tolerate remaining overweight another day in your life. You need to be fed up. I'm looking for people who are fed up. Who's fed up? Leave me a comment if you're overweight, but on a feeling level, on an attitude level, on a thought level, you've tolerated physically remaining overweight, but you feel like at this point the fat must go. Leave a comment. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for people who are no longer willing to tolerate remaining overweight, because choosing to remain overweight, choosing to give fat a permanent address on your body, is also choosing premature death. Because they know in medical science that excess fat, especially the fat that accumulates around the waist, when you have excess abdominal belly fat, central obesity is what it's called medically. It puts you at risk. It's one of the causes. It puts you at risk for cancer, different types of cancer. It puts you at risk for type 2 diabetes. It's a chief risk factor for cardiovascular disease, but also cerebrovascular disease, diseases of the brain like strokes, cerebrovascular diseases like dementia, Alzheimer's. So how many of you will no longer tolerate remaining overweight? How many of you are ready to step up? Who got the hunger to start the journey? I don't want to hear from people who are interested in losing weight. I'm not looking for you. I'm not looking for you. I'm looking for people who are committed to losing weight, because people that are committed have a hunger. You see, I was just outside when I started this talk, and it was 90 degrees, and I was in between jogging. So I have what's called my halftime period. I jog to my destination, and I let the Spirit of God inspire me to share something of value. And during that time, when I started this talk, my iPhone cut off because it was 90 degrees. It would no longer even function, except for making emergency calls. That's called commitment. I didn't look for a reason not to go out and jog because it was 90 degrees today. I didn't look for a reason not to show up and share something of value. I'm not getting paid for this. I do it out of love. I do it because I care about people. Now, if some of you decide to join, beautiful. I would love to work with you. That would be amazing. That would give me an opportunity to make a difference in your life. That's what I'm good at doing. That's my gift. I'm good at helping people close the gap from living and tolerating problems, biological poverty. I help people go from biological poverty into biological wealth. That's what I'm gifted at. I've got 22 years of doing that. That's what I know for sure. Just as much as if your car breaks down, your vehicle, and you take it to a seasoned mechanic who cares, who's a specialist, who has a track record at repairing vehicles, you can rest assured that when you take your vehicle to that mechanic, you know that within a certain amount of time, you'll get your vehicle back and it'll be fully repaired. The problem will be fixed. So I'm like a mechanic for your metabolism. But I want to tell you that weight loss is easy. So stop thinking and feeling that weight loss is hard, that weight loss is difficult. It's not. Your biology can easily go into fat burning mode within 24 hours on the right plan with the right support. See, for those of you who've been trying to lose weight on your own, you've been making attempts. But would you do that with your vehicle? If your car or your vehicle was malfunctioning, would you go outside and attempt to be a mechanic? You don't have the specialized knowledge. You don't have the tools to even repair your car. You don't have the diagnostic intelligence to identify whether your reason for being overweight is mostly digestive because of digestive issues or hormonal. Typically, there's always a hormonal reason why you're overweight, tied to insulin and estrogen. And of course, chronic inflammation. If you're obese or overweight and you haven't been able to lose weight, there's 3 known scientific reasons why: chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalance, and digestive issues. Now, you don't know that, but I know that because that's what I've spent my life doing for 22 years, solving problems, repairing people's metabolisms once they're in agreement with the system that I've developed. But for those of you who year after year keep thinking, I'm going to try this diet system, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, you jumping around, you here, you there. But here's the problem with a diet. You've heard it before. It's not sustainable. You're only going to do it for a certain amount of time. I don't provide a diet. I don't offer a diet. I offer an eating system. See, I have an eating system. Once you have an eating system that optimizes your biology, you'll never have to do a diet again. I don't have to do a diet. I have an eating system. I know how to eat scientifically. I do eat for fun. Don't let the word science process or register in your mind boring. I use herbs and spices. I know how to bring flavor, but I eat for function. I don't eat to be full as so much I eat for high function. So, for those of you who are no longer willing to tolerate remaining overweight, for those of you who are not just interested in losing weight, but you are committed to losing weight, reach out. That means you have a hunger right now. That means you have a burning desire right now. That means you feel deserving and worthy of living with your ideal physical version. You see, being overweight is compromising your biology. If you're currently overweight or obese, you are not healthy. Dr. Joel Fuhrman, who's a medical doctor, he is dispelling this myth that people who are overweight or obese are healthy. You're not healthy. In fact, excess fat on the body and the accompanying inflammation, chronic inflammation, is indicative that there are some problems on a metabolic level, on an intracellular level. Within your cells, your mitochondria is damaged. Much of or many of your mitochondria are damaged, which is the source of chronic inflammation in the human body. You're dealing with elevated insulin. You're dealing with insulin resistance, which is keeping your blood glucose or blood sugar elevated, and that's causing problems. not just excess fat that's damaging your liver over time, damaging your kidneys over time. It can lead to prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. So they know that excess abdominal belly fat shortens your telomeres. Telomeres are the end caps at the tips of your DNA strands. They know the biologists, the top biologists in the world who deal with telomere biology, understand, and they've discovered that if you're living with excess abdominal belly fat, you're shortening your telomeres. And if you're shortening your telomeres, they can see cancer, they can see heart disease and other chronic diseases when your telomeres, the end pieces or caps that are at the tips of your DNA strands, if they see shortened telomeres, they see chronic disease. They can see all types of problems with shortened telomeres. And it shortens your lifespan too. And it diminishes your quality of life, the quality of your moments. So I want to challenge all of you who are hungry for weight loss, it's really about metabolic health. It's not just about weight. You see, being overweight, excess body fat's a symptom. It's really a symptom. And it brings a cascade of other symptoms, whether it's abnormal cholesterol or elevated blood serum triglycerides that shows up as high or elevated LDL, lowered HDL, gut problems, digestive issues. There's a cascade of symptoms that can come out of being overweight, accumulating fat on your body, especially the fat around the abdomen. That's the fat that causes premature death. Like most of the incidences of premature death we're seeing in Americans, people who had a stroke and they had complications afterwards, people that had heart attacks and who have died, and folks who've had heart attacks and they've survived heart disease, cerebrovascular disease like strokes, Alzheimer's, dementia. The leading scientists in the world are referring to dementia as type 3 diabetes because it has to do with the impact of insulin resistance, how excess glucose, which is caused by insulin resistance, excess sugar, excess glucose because of a high consumption of processed foods and animal products, this excess glucose impacts brain tissue in an adverse way, starts to break down the tissue, the protein structures of the brain. That's advanced glycation end product. So my point to you is choosing to remain overweight, choosing to live with a biology that's obese is problematic because it will create more serious conditions and eventually cause you to leave the planet early, show up at the cemetery early. That's the only time I want to be late. That's the only time I want to be tardy. I don't want to show up at the cemetery early. I want to get the most out of this journey that I can. And I want quality of my moments, quality of life during the moments that I have breath. So there's a way to eat, to live. There's a way to eat, to thrive. But being overweight, having excess fat starts internally. It's these feeling states, whether it's sorrow or shame, resentment, unresolved childhood trauma. If you look at the evidence, they've done these large-scale surveys where they've issued out questionnaires to tens of thousands of people. And they found out that what's really behind obesity and people with overweight is that most individuals who are obese and overweight had at least one or more adverse childhood events, adverse childhood experiences, ACEs, ACEs, ACES. So we know that folks that are obese or overweight are dealing with at least one or more. And in most cases, according to the evidence, if you go to the NIH website, National Institutes of Health, you'll see that so many Americans, that were tens of thousands, that were basically who filled out these questionnaires, survey studies, experienced adverse childhood events. And that, that creates an emotional trauma. So I'm aware of that. However, you can overcome. You can overcome. You don't have to settle and tolerate remaining overweight. You have not only an eating system, but you need a people system. You need a support system. My online communities provide a support system. I'm a support system. Being a coach, you need coaching. You need the guidance. You need the emotional support that comes with coaching. You need a people system called a community. So you need a people system. You need an eating system. You need ongoing support and ongoing guidance. So what I've set up provides those components. You need systems in place to be successful. Weight loss is a journey. It's not a destination. So you need people systems so that you don't fall back into addictive eating patterns. Addictive eating patterns really come from, and all my research on food addiction is really a lack of love and connection. So the more healthy relationships, the more healthy connections you have with people, having a coach, having a community of people that are pursuing metabolic health or health success, you're going to increase the probability of long-term weight loss. Now, all the studies indicate that people who have successfully lost weight and they've been able to sustain their weight loss over time, they all have done so because they had a support group system. That's evidence. That's data. We know that. That's evidence, not my opinion. So anybody that's attempting to lose weight in isolation on their own, you've been there and done it, right? Did it work? You see? So it's important to have a people system, a community. So for those of you who have a hunger, who are in an emotional space where you will no longer tolerate remaining overweight because you want to be metabolically healthy. Some of you already have type 2 diabetes. Some of you already have hypertension. Some of you are dealing with abnormal cholesterol. And if you're dealing with those 3 metabolic syndrome conditions, they all start with excess abdominal belly fat, because excess abdominal belly fat or central obesity is a precursor condition for other metabolic syndrome conditions, whether it's abnormal cholesterol, high blood pressure, elevated blood glucose levels from insulin resistance, which will basically put you borderline diabetic and eventually type 2 diabetic. All that's from food slavery. All of that is because you're a food addict. All of that is because most of what you eat is highly processed. It's crap. It's calorie rich and processed. So if most of what you're eating is calorie rich and processed and animal products, you're eating low to very little whole, unprocessed plant-based foods, which contain the micronutrition, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytonutrients, along with the fiber, that actually is the cure to arresting and reversing obesity, diabetes, abnormal cholesterol. In other words, there's a way to eat to heal your brain, to heal your heart, to heal your vascular system or blood vessels. There's a way to eat to arrest and remove inflammation in your lungs so that you don't live with asthma, so you don't live with pulmonary conditions, diseases of the lungs. This is all these diseases that show up in different systems, whether it's the lungs, liver disease, kidney disease, or renal disease, cerebrovascular disease of the brain, heart disease, all of it is because of the way you eat. Stop blaming it on God. God has given us pre-installed metabolic health potential. But there's a law, there's a way of eating to activate that potential. You can eat for metabolic health. So for those of you who are hungry for metabolic health, reach out. Send me a message, leave a comment. Somebody left a comment. Okay. So Alexandria Davis, what's going on? A former client of mine back in the day. Good to see you on here live. Tell Yolanda Sigmund to listen up. If she's dealing with some things and she wants support, I'm here for her. So for those of you who may not know, see this? The Plant-Based Loser, what is that? The 21-day plant-based weight loss challenge. I'm thinking, let's see, we launched that in March 2019. So many people have benefited. I'm talking about if you go to Instagram at Plant-Based Loser Challenge, you'll see individuals who's lost 26 pounds in 21 days, individuals who have lost 24 pounds in 21 days, individuals who have lost 20 pounds in 21 days. There are over 50 weight loss testimonials. Once anybody that's obese or overweight and they start my plant-based metabolic weight loss plan, they're going to go into fat burning mode. Your metabolism shifts out of the metabolic state that I call waiting, WEIGHTING, waiting, the metabolic state of progressive weight gain. Because if you're not losing weight, metabolically, you are in a state of progressive weight gain. If you're 30 pounds overweight, 40 pounds overweight, 100 pounds overweight, you didn't put it on in a month. You gain weight progressively. So when you start my plant-based metabolic weight loss plan, the same day you start it, it shifts you metabolically into fat burn mode. But it does so because it's activating intracellular health mechanisms. It's beginning the process of repairing damaged mitochondria, meaning the inflammation in tissue starts to decrease and disappear day by day. You see, your meals, MEALS, your meals control your metabolic health. Or your meals create metabolic dysfunction, metabolic disease. They even know that cancer is a metabolic disease. Yes, if somebody you know's dealt with breast cancer, cervical cancer, I'm speaking to a lot of women right now. It's diet induced. It's diet induced. It's diet induced. Calorie rich in processed foods. High animal product consumption. Some of you on a keto tip. See, you got to understand, listen to me. I've been training and coaching for 22 years, but I'm also a metabolic health specialist. Meaning I know how to help people become metabolically healthy. Most medical doctors do not specialize in what I specialize in. They can diagnose. They can recommend what medical interventions, but they don't know how to get you metabolically healthy. Now, I'm not talking about people like Dr. Furman. There are a handful, more than a handful. There are a growing number of medical doctors who are getting people on a plant-based diet, and that's beautiful. But the average mainstream medical doctor doesn't know anything about metabolic health. How do I know? Because I've trained many medical doctors. I've had medical doctors in my plant-based personal training program who themselves had abnormal cholesterol levels, who had asthma, who were addicted to calorie-rich and processed foods, who were dealing with central obesity. So what I'm saying to you is this: metabolic health is the real aim. Once you start activating that on my plant-based metabolic weight loss plan, it's really an eating plan and system for achieving metabolic health. Once you start activating metabolic health with the meals and my metabolic smoothies, soups, and teas, you immediately go into fat burn mode. And that's why my plant-based loser challenge customers, when they have their first weigh-in the morning of day number 4, all overweight customers who are participating in the 21-day plant-based loser challenge, they have their first weigh-in on the morning of day number 4, which measures how much weight they've lost, how much fat mass they've lost in pounds in 3 days. It's common to hear feedback from customers using digital scales to lose 5, 6, 7, and 8 pounds in 3 days. And every now and then, I'll get a customer that says I've lost 3 pounds in 3 days. 3 pounds in 3 days. Losing 3 pounds of fat in 3 days is phenomenal. But that's not even the average. I'm getting 5, 6, 7 pounds, sometimes 8 pounds fat loss in 3 days. And it's not water weight. They are arresting and reversing edema, water retention, but they're actually reducing inflammation. They're actually burning fat, whether they work out or not. So, it's amazing to me when I have people who think they know and understand the body, and people will say, well, Shabaka, that's water weight, isn't it? See, when people gain weight, let's say you weigh yourself and you see weight gain, you don't say it's water. Oh, that's water weight I gained. See, it's amazing how deep beliefs, these false beliefs, play into this whole weight loss and weight gain conversation. See, when people gain weight, they don't say I gained 3 pounds of water. They assume it's fat. But when people lose weight quickly, they, in their it's really that belief that weight loss is difficult, that fat loss is hard, that fat loss is difficult. So when they witness fat loss in pounds that are measurable on a scale, sometimes people, in their disbelief or belief in this idea, false notion that weight loss is difficult, they will assume that it's water weight loss. So I have customers who are doing well, who are participating right now. If you have the hunger for metabolic health, then you can easily lose weight using my plant-based metabolic weight loss plan. I'm going to wrap up this live. It's time for those of you who have the hunger. I want to work with you because I only work with people who are committed to weight loss, not interested in weight loss, but committed to weight loss. I only work with committed people because I'm a committed person. I don't want to waste time on folks that have an interest in losing weight, but they're not ready to take action, because weight loss is about giving. God's biology deserves plant-based foods. It's time for you to step up. It's time for you to be a giver. Because if you're obese and overweight, it's indicative of the fact that you've not been giving your biology the kind of nutrition that it was designed for. It's time for you to give. If you want to receive the weight loss, give your biology the foods that it needs. Get the support you deserve. Stop trying to be a mechanic for your metabolism. I am a mechanic for the metabolism. I've got 22 years of proving that. It's time for you to do something new. Here's my recommendation: the Plant-Based Loser Challenge. Let's kickstart your weight loss. 21 days. Let's go. Let's go. And it's time for the fat to go. Reach out to me. I'm looking forward to working with you. Only call me and contact me or message me, leave me a comment. If you want to learn how to get started, you know where to go. Well, not quite, but I'm going to tell you where to go. This is how you can get started. All right, here it is right here. Let's do it. ThePlantBasedLoser.com. Need to lose 17 to 26 pounds in 21 days. Now you know how to get started. Go there. Go ahead and save some cash. I got a big discount that I'm running up until the 30th, which is tomorrow. Go ahead and get $150 off. You deserve it. It's time for you to get the guidance, get the guidelines, get the community support, the coaching support. You deserve to be metabolically healthy. It's your time. Let's go. It's time for the fat to go. Come on, let's step up. Let's do it. This is your year. You know it. You know it's true. Let's do it. And I'll work with you as a coach so you can release those feelings, those attitudes, those thoughts that have been holding you back, that have been sabotaging you internally. I got something for that too. So God bless you. Thanks for your time and attention. Share this with others. Let's go from information to inspiration to immersion, and you can live with your ideal physical version. Take care.